Hey guys, welcome to the newest episode of the San Diego Scoop. Now, if you saw episode 1, you know this is the place where I break down everything happening in San Diego that really matters for your life and your wallet. So this week we've got some pretty awesome stuff going on, from a huge sports and entertainment district that could totally change the South Bay, to top athletes coming to North County, plus some big changes in the housing market that every buyer and seller need to know about. So let's dive in. Alright, so this first one is pretty exciting. Chula Vista just dropped the details of what might be the most ambitious project South Bay has ever seen. It's called Pangia, and we're talking about a 124-acre entertainment and sports district right on the bayfront. There's a lot here, so bear with me. A 50,000-seat stadium, 3 hotels, a tennis center, a water polo academy, a mini golf course, an IMAX theater, and 300,000 square feet of shopping space. This place is massive. Mayor John McCann rolled out the plans, and honestly, if this actually gets built, it's going to completely change the whole entire area. The location is pretty perfect too. It's right on the Chula Vista Bayfront, right where they just finished the Gaylord Pacific Hotel earlier this year. Now that was phase 1 of the redevelopment. Pangia is phase 2, and it's way bigger than anything we've ever seen there. And if you think this is big, wait until you hear about what Zillow just announced about home prices. I'll break down what that means for San Diego in just a few minutes. But here's the thing, they're not just putting up another shopping center. This is built to be a real destination, the kind of place that draws people from all over Southern California. Now, I'll be real with you, we've heard big promises like this before, but the port has approved a 6-month negotiation period with the McGovern Group. And during that time, they're actively getting input from the community, which tells me they actually want to make this one work. This video got a ton of comments and a lot of mixed opinions. One topic came up quite a bit. Could the proposed stadium be big enough for a future NFL team returning to San Diego? Well, they certainly have the room for it, but I don't think room will be our biggest hurdle there. They left because San Diego voters didn't want to front the bill for a new stadium. But from a real estate perspective, this could be huge for anyone who owns property in the South Bay. When you bring this level of entertainment, jobs, and foot traffic to an area, property values typically go up. Now the community gets to weigh in at the City Council meeting on September 9th at 5 p.m. So if you live in the area, make sure you stop by. Before we dive in further, if you're enjoying the content, these are the kind of stories we spotlight every single week on the San Diego Scoop. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and stay in the loop on everything San Diego. Oceanside is about to take the spotlight in a big way. The Sports Illustrated women's games are rolling into Front Wave Arena this fall from October 28th through November 2nd. And it looks like it's going to be something pretty special. We're talking some pretty big names here. We got the WNBA star Dearica Hamby, Olympic gymnast Jade Carey, tennis pro Sloane Stevens, plus over 120 world-class athletes battling across 7 different sports. The format's pretty cool too. Every day it's Team America, which is US, Canada, and Latin America, versus Team World, which is Europe, Africa, and Asia. Events run the gamut, flag football to kick things off, then you got wrestling, judo, volleyball, basketball, tennis, and gymnastics. Honestly, I was crossing my fingers for Simone Biles, but it looks like she's not in the lineup, at least not for now. But still, it's a stacked roster. And this isn't just local buzz, these games are going to air on ION TV and streaming on Prime Video. That's some pretty good national exposure right here in North County. Even better, there's a free fan zone at the arena with meet and greets and youth sports clinics, which I know families around here are going to love. Tickets start at $25, which actually is pretty reasonable for this level of talent. If you want to see some serious competition without breaking the bank, this is your event. Stuff like this shows Oceanside and North County are more than just great beaches. We're becoming a legit destination for sports and entertainment. And speaking of entertainment, my kids can't stop buzzing about this next one on the list. Alright, so round 1 bowling and arcade is at it again. They're opening their 3rd San Diego location, this time right in the middle of the city at Westfield Mission Valley. So if you haven't been to one before, round 1 is basically Japan's answer to how much fun can we fit under one roof. We're talking bowling, arcades, karaoke, darts, billiards, batting cages, ping pong, and even roller skating. It's like they couldn't decide what to build, so they just said, let's do it all. And here's the kicker, they're bringing in a Japanese food hall with legit udon and ramen spots. Normally you'd have to fly to Tokyo to get the real deal, but now it's going to be a quick trolley ride away. Oh, and yes, they've got a full liquor license as well, so this isn't just a spot for kids to load up on tickets and prizes. Parents, date nights, friend groups, you're covered too. Now, some people online have been debating whether we really need a round 1 and a Dave & Buster's practically next door to each other. Fair point, but most people say Dave & Buster's leans older while round 1 trends to a little younger and more family friendly. But honestly, I think Mission Valley is probably big enough to handle both. And speaking of Mission Valley, it's already got Snapdragon Stadium, the Riverwalk redevelopment, better trolley access. It's turning into a real destination lately. Add something like this and suddenly it's not just a shopping stop, it's a neighborhood with legit nightlife and family entertainment. There's no official opening date yet, but with that Escondido location still under construction, I'd bet we're looking at 2026 or beyond for doors to open. So between bowling, karaoke, and roller skating, I'm either going to pull a muscle or embarrass my kids. but probably both. And since we're talking about shopping and entertainment, let me tell you what's coming to North County next. Encinitas just got some really big retail news. Nordstrom Rack is moving into the El Camino Promenade. They're taking over the old Burlington spot, and it's set to open in spring of 2026. Now, I know a store opening might not sound earth-shattering, but this actually does fill a gap in the area. Encinitas has its boutique shops and basics like TJ Maxx and Marshalls, but it's been kind of missing that middle tier option in my opinion. But with that said, I've got to point this out a little bit. A bunch of people commented on my IG post saying Nordstrom Rack's quality isn't quite what it used to be. Some even say it's taken a nosedive in recent years. I'm curious if you guys noticed that as well. Personally, I feel like it's kind of hit or miss right now, like digging through the clearance bin at Target, but with better lighting. But here's the thing, it's not just about one store. North County has been getting a steady flow of new spots lately. Harlan Brewing is coming to Del Sur Town Center, Better Buzz is opening Rancho Penasquitas, and Chef Fei, one of China's most popular stir-fry spots, is setting up at UTC Mall. Between new restaurants, breweries, coffee shops, and now a little retail boost, it all adds up. These aren't just places to shop or eat, these are really the things that make neighborhoods feel more complete. Alright, so we've covered shopping and entertainment. Next up, let's talk about how some new airline routes might actually make it easier to get to and from San Diego. Southwest Airlines just dropped some big news for San Diego. They're ramping up service right now as the brand new Terminal 1 at the airport opens next month. Phase 1 of that terminal is massive, nearly 1 million square feet, more than triple the size of the old one. And with all that extra space, Southwest is clearly ready to flex. They're not just adding new flights, they're bringing back some popular routes we lost the past few years. Think Maui, coming back daily, which is my absolute favorite vacation spot, Seattle with daily service, Puerto Vallarta 5 times a week, Spokane on weekends, and even Bozeman, Montana for spring break travelers. On top of all that, they're expanding some of their most in-demand nonstop routes. So if you're flying out of San Diego, you'll now see more flights to Nashville, Chicago, Orlando, Boise, Eugene, and Portland. Here's why all of this matters for us. Better air connections almost always means more visitors discovering San Diego. And when people visit here, some fall in love and decide to make the move. I've had clients who first came here on vacation from Chicago, Detroit, the Midwest, and a few months later, they were shopping for homes here. With these expanded routes, even more people will be able to get here without the hassle of connecting flights. Now, I know some of you guys have mixed feelings about Southwest Airlines, but they are the largest carrier here in San Diego, and they seem to be doubling down right as Terminal 1 opens. And that combo is a huge win for our tourism economy, and tourism has a way of turning into relocation. So whether it's a family from Nashville or a couple from Portland, don't be surprised if some of these new visitors turn into your future neighbors. All right, this is the big one for anyone thinking about buying or selling. Zillow just completely flipped their outlook on home prices. And what that means for San Diego is pretty important. After months of lowering the national home price forecast, they've stopped the negative predictions. Their new 12-month outlook actually projects home prices will rise 0.4% between July 2025 and July 2026. 0.4% doesn't sound like much, but here's why it matters. Now projecting slight growth shows they might think the worst is behind us. From a San Diego perspective, this is pretty good news. Zillow's research shows markets where builders have kept up with demand are recovering faster than places where they haven't built enough homes. Now, San Diego falls into that first group. We've had more construction than markets like Austin or San Francisco, giving buyers more options while also freeing up existing inventory. I've been seeing this shift in the local market for weeks. Fewer deals are falling apart than 6 months ago. Buyers are getting more realistic about prices, and sellers are being somewhat more flexible with negotiations. But what Zillow is basically saying is that affordability is slowly improving where builders have been active. Monthly mortgage costs are down about $19 over the past year nationally, though payments are still nearly $1,000 higher than they were before the pandemic. Bottom line for San Diego buyers and sellers, if you've been waiting for prices to crash, this data suggests the wait might be over. And if you've been scared to sell because you thought home values would keep dropping, Zillow is showing you might have just found our floor. Now, I'm not saying we're going to go back to the crazy appreciation we saw during the pandemic, but stability is exactly what a healthy market looks like. Stability gives both buyers and sellers more confidence to make moves. Now, for first-time buyers especially, this could be perfect timing. Rates have stabilized somewhat and will likely drop a little bit more in the coming months. Inventory is still higher than pre-pandemic levels, and if prices start trending up again, getting in sooner rather than later might make a lot of sense for some. All right, guys, that's your San Diego scoop for the week. So what do you guys think? Are you guys excited as I am about the massive Pangia project in the South Bay? Maybe you're ready to catch some amazing athletes at the Front Wave Arena. And what about that Zillow news? Does it change how you feel about the housing market? Drop me a comment and let me know. I love hearing what you guys think about these stories. And hey, if you're thinking about making a move in this market, shoot me a message at bern@off56.com. Plus, if you want to stay on top of everything happening in San Diego that actually matters, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're doing this every single week, and trust me, there's always something big happening in America's finest city. Thanks for watching, and catch us next time. Bye!